but there's no like even information for it, so I don't know what the things.
All right, kiss day, everybody. Yeah, glad everybody's here. Glad to see everybody. Those on Zoom, this is going to be recorded, so you can come back and you can look at it. And even those of you who are in the classroom, you guys can go online and look at the recording. If there's anything that you missed or you didn't understand, it should be online at YouTube. So, all right. So we're gonna start, we're gonna review everything we've done. We're gonna go through it real fast before we get to the new stuff. And I like to do that because it helps us to switch into Mvskoke brain, because we've heard English all day, and we just need to kind of get something to get us switched over. All right. So let's go ahead and say the alphabet. I'll say it and then you guys repeat it. T, G, I, E, B, P, A, P, V, me, O, P, C or flee, C, P, U. We were talking about this earlier. We, and ye. I know there's always going to be some of those letters that you kind of get confused with. Just go back to your alphabet and just start it again. I know we've had to do that. We did that earlier before class started. So, yeah, these are all for your references. Okay, so let's go ahead and sing our song. And the words are up here as well. Anybody have any questions on this one? Or listen. On writing. The little X. We'll start over again. Like I said, whenever we do this, it's good when it works, but then sometimes, it's just cranky. And it decides to do what it wants to do. Exit the screen. There we go. I'm learning this as I go, so I'm learning not only Mvskoke, but I'm learning technology. Just pray for me. All right. So week one, last one, we did that. And And this is one of the things that I've done in learning Mvskoke is just take something like I know a Brandon, and then you just say you know the alphabet, Mvskoke alphabet. That kind of keeps you in the moment of Mvskoke. And I like to trick myself and play games, so I'm learning while I'm you know every day. And so this is a little thing that I've started doing, and I've told some of my classes to do. Like I know a Brandon, there's no B, so you just say skip, and then you got the, me, skip, me. And then so you know, just you can say this for you got a pet, name your pet. I know a crystal. So I'll just sit there and just, you know, just when you just got spare time or when you're sitting there thinking, you're at a stop sign, you're at a red light, you know, crystal, E, C, B, C, E, V. I know iris, A, B, A, C. Same thing with Shay, B, E, E. And then stop sign, you know, everybody comes to a stop sign. I mean, this is like I said, I put a little game with myself trying to learn. So you can sit there and you can spell stop sign, C, T, O, B. And then if you're still sitting there at the stop sign, you can even change it up, okay? What can I make at a stop? D, O, B. You got top. You can make another word, D. By that time, you've gone to the stop sign. So just little things to help keep you in the Mvskoke mindset, to keep your mind thinking Mvskoke. I know everybody's got a Main Street. You know, you're driving down Main Street, B, A, B. So just little things like that to keep your mind thinking about Mvskoke in, you know, everyday time. You know, you hear English all the time. Just try to keep your mind thinking about Mvskoke. And one of the things that I've learned is when you keep in the Mvskoke mindset, you'll start dreaming about it, or you start, you know, hearing the words and hearing the sounds, you know, in your everyday life. But that's one of the ways that I've learned to keep myself in the Mvskoke mindset, just to play games and just to have fun learning. So let's do a couple of 2-letter syllables. Let's go, let's just do 2 rows here. We're going to start out this. I will say it, and then you guys can say it with me. You guys have already practiced this and already know this. Da, di, ti, te, do, tu, da. Wa, wi, we, way, wo, woo, wa. All right, everybody been practicing? Is that getting familiar now to everybody? Let's go to the 3-letter syllables. 3-letter syllables. Let's choose. Okay, let's do this one today. We're going to do 2 lines here. We're going to do spa, spit, speed, spay, spoke, food, spot. Spa, slid, sleep, slay, slow, slew, spot. Anybody have any questions on those? Right. And these are all reviewed. We've already gone through all of these, so it should be nothing new so far. There we go. Kitchen items. You should have it on your paperwork, your kitchen items. And I'm trying to make it, like I said, make it as easy as possible for you guys. So I'm putting it on PowerPoint, and I also have the first speaker speaking it. So if you forget how things are pronounced, you can always go to the Google Drive and you can always listen to it. So we put the PowerPoint on.
Adika.
We'll listen to it first.
Hakoji. Palakna. Tamla. Hazadichka. Siskida. Islavka. Halo balakna. Siskida imbadaga. Hidodi hudi. Oh okoska. Ispaska. Oh legida. Oh hombeda. Jadohaya.
Right, so let me see, I'm gonna try to turn it up a little bit. And so I think I can, it's not as loud as I'm used to. Can you guys hear it in the back, or you need to turn up a little bit? Okay. Let's not do that. Okay, so this time, let's go ahead and we're gonna let her say this, and this is the Mvhayv. I don't know if anybody called up there, but this is Mvhayv speaking. And so we're just gonna let her say it, Adika, full, and then we'll say Adika. She'll say Panwa, and then we'll say. Get this going.
Adika.
Adika.
Jofunwa.
Panwa.
Hakoji.
Kuchi.
Balakna.
Lana.
Damla.
Lana.
Hazadichka. Siskida. Islavka. Halo balakna. Siskida imbadaga. Hidodi hudi. Oh okoska. Ispaska. Oh legida. Oh hombeda. Jadohaya.
Does that make sense to everybody? Does anybody have any questions? All right, so like I said, this is on a Google Drive, so if you lose that sound, you always have this to reference. Because I know when I was learning, sometimes I would lose the sound and I would have to wait till the next class to figure out how it sounded. And here is our foods. And these are Stagati foods. These are native foods. We're gonna do the PowerPoint. We're gonna listen the first time and then we're gonna repeat. Like we did the other PowerPoint.
Osafki. Safki. Abaski. Abaskinilka. Pasko afki. Taklek sakmulki. Sakkonipki. Jadahaga. Davambuji.
There's the UCG. All right. So let's go through and we're gonna repeat after her. For some reason, I have to get out and get back in. Start again. So now we're gonna repeat.
Osafki. Safki. Abaski. Abaskinilka. Pasko afki.
Katrolaki,
Taklek Sakmulki,
Arens Lakmoki,
Sakkonipki,
Sakureti,
Jadahaga,
Chadahaga,
Davambuji,
Tapamuchi.
Anybody have any questions on that? Has anybody had any of these?
Yes.
All right, I know, we were talking about this earlier in the week. I think we were talking about it, Monday, and Coco was talking about, we were talking about grape dumplings, and Coco was talking about grape dumplings, so, on Wednesday, she made grape dumplings, and she brought it in to show everybody. But she was, sharing the recipe with us, and then they asked her to write it down, and she's like, well, I just throw this in, you know how the old cooks do, I just throw this in, throw that in, and then she was telling us, you know, she's got a little bit more time. She used, to cut up the dough, she used a pizza cutter. So I thought that was kind of neat, but, she was saying that right now they use the Welch's grape juice to make it. And I think the old way was to use the possum grapes. So, it's just like everything that, our Mvskoke or our native people do. Sometimes you have to change things because you can't always go out and pick wild onions or this or that. So, you just have to tweak it a little bit. I thought that was pretty neat that they use Welch's grape juice and were able to still make some of our native foods with, stuff that they have in the store now. Because I wouldn't know what a possum grape would like. I wouldn't know. I'd probably be eating something poisoned. Do you have a question?
What is it, that second corn?
Husky.
Yeah.
So what I was told, because I've never had this. I've seen and I've smelled sake or osaki. Just depends on, who you hear it from. Sometimes it's osaki or shaki. And I remember my uncle would like it when it was sour. You just have it fermented. And I remember walking in the kitchen and he was like, "Ooh, what is that smell?" And he was like, and I'm like, "What?" And lift the lid and you can just smell it. It's just, but not, that's a lot of our elders were used to eating it was, fermented. I've never tried it fermented. I haven't tried it regular, and it's good regular. I don't know if I could try it fermented. Has anybody tried it fermented here?
Not real bad, maybe a day or two.
When you can smell it, when they lift off the lid, that's just too much.
With that second one, it's hard to come by. I don't even know if anybody makes it anymore.
I don't know. She was
When
telling
we
me.
were growing up, we could get it at the old churches when we were,
Right.
they had, but we used to call it Mvhayv.
Yeah. And that's because I asked my I'm like, what is that? She goes, well, it would be like native Kool-Aid. You put your sweetener in it, but it's ground corn, and then you just keep grounding it to it's a powder, and then you add your water. That's one thing I would like to try. Corn soup, I've had that one, grape dumplings. And we usually have these at the old church houses, because they still cook the same old ways, and I'm like, oh my gosh. Now they use bacon grease, stuff that, you have all these nutritionists saying you're not supposed to eat, but oh my gosh, that makes it so good. All right, and then fry bread, everybody knows fry bread, pork and hominy. Like I said, I eat that at churches. And chadahaga, has anybody eaten chadahaga? That was really good, the brown gluten bread. I'm sorry, what? Yeah, she made that before. But what I found out is I thought it was made with the corn, the blue cornmeal. It's purple pea hulls. And I just found that out, I would say within the last 3 or 4 years, that it was purple pea hulls. And I was like, oh my gosh, that is so cool, because, our people ate everything that they could that was edible. And, now that I think about it, where do you get purple pea? Amazon. But, just think about how our bodies were back then. All of this stuff was used by our bodies and was natural. You don't have to worry about all the diseases we have. So I'm thinking about trying to go back to eating more of our ancestry. And then tapongoji, wild onions. You know, you can hear nowadays, got all these wild onion dinners in all these little churches all over the place. And if you've never had them, you've got to try. It's really good. It's
When's up tomorrow? I think it's last week was Mary Park in the city. And tomorrow they said it was Angie Smith.
Angie
Oh,
Smith.
yeah.
Okay, so if anybody wants to try some native foods, Angie Smith tomorrow.
Yeah.
And here are our infinitive words. You guys, grab your paper. You can see what I'm talking about. And these are not all of the infinitive verbs. A lot of our infinitive verbs end with the ETV, but not all of them that end in ETV are infinitive verbs. So these are just a few of the ones that are out there. I didn't want to overwhelm you and give you 50, 30. I thought it was okay. Because like I said, I remember going through this and sitting there and trying to absorb everything, and then your mind was like, I'm done. So I'm just trying to give you little pieces at a time. The reason I gave you these is we're going to try to make simple sentences with these. And because we're talking about food, so these are relevant to what we've already learned. But I'm going to show you how to make sentences and use these infinitives to make a sentence. So let me go ahead and do the slideshow. She will say the word and just repeat the word. And then we'll go from there.
Huideda,
Ayeda,
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 hayeda,
ayeda,
niseda,
niseda,
hombeda,
hombeda,
iskeda,
iskeda,
hejeda,
hujeda,
giltheda.
You see some of these combination of syllables right here. We, it's got that we, it's got the we sound. So those two together make the we sound. We and ayeda, it's got the ayeda, ayeda, nisada, umbida, eskada, hijida, ketada. See, this is the one that throws a lot of people too because of R. Ketada. Let's go ahead and listen to it again. We should get out of there.
Huideda,
Ayeda,
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 hayeda,
ayeda,
niseda,
nisada,
hombeda,
umbida,
iskeda,
iskada,
hejeda,
hijida,
giltheda.
ketada. All right, does anybody have any questions on those? Like I said, I'm trying to put everything with the speaker speaking, so you'll catch it here. You're like, I know what it is. You lose it, just go to Google Drive, replay it, practice again, because I needed a lot of practice. I still practice, and sometimes the speakers gently nudge me back in. Like I said, I get so excited sometimes. Like I say, and I'm like thinking, and they're like, what? And I have to slow it down. You know, instead of humbada. That's why I say humbada. And they're like, wait, slow it down. You get so excited. And if you hear Mvhayv, you know, the sound matters, the words, because it changes the words. Sometimes you think you're saying one thing and you're saying something else, just from the sounds. So, you know, just slow it down and just go slow and sound each word out and each little syllable out. See, let's go ahead and go to our simple sentence, present tense. Like I said, I will go through this. Just hold your questions till the end. I will go through this. I will read this with you. It's not going to make a lot of sense until I show you the next slide, which it breaks it down a little bit better. All right, so we are just now starting the simple sentence present tense, what we're doing now. There's a different way to do it in the future and in the past, but right now we're doing now, what we're doing now. All right, so we're conjugating in the present, what is happening now, and here's the present tense steps. You drop the ETV, you L-grade the stem, the verb stem. I do have, so on the green dictionary that you have, it has some of the rules. So this is where I get the rules. I just hold it up so people can see. So on that one is some of the green dictionary is some of the rules. And I have the other book that shows you the rules. I have it in here. But I just want to let you know that I do have references to where this stuff comes from. It is the Mvskoke Creek book. It's a black book, and I'll show you later. But you can read it. It is a hard read. It is hard to understand it. So you will have to go through, if you're really trying to figure out some of the stuff, you have to go through several times to figure out what it's saying. But this is how I was taught. And like I said, I was able to reference this book and the other book. So if you have any questions, I can refer you back to the books and you can read it and try to figure it out because they've got so many. I don't know if anybody here is interested in the sentence structure or interested in linguistics, but it's got a lot of linguistics in here, like labial and nasal. I know nasal, but I don't know the other ones. But it's out there if you guys want the reference. For present tense steps, you drop the ETV, L-grade the verb stem, you lengthen the final vowel of the verb stem. If the final vowel is a V, change it to an A, unless it is followed by MK, NK, or T. If it is, leave it a V. The rest of the final vowels, place a long mark over. And like I said, this will come into play. I know some of you guys, I understand. This will come into play when I show you, but I just want to go over the rules. And so right now, add a person marker, I, it's, or nothing. So this one thing right here is talking about I. I am doing something. So it's referring to I. That is what we're going to do today. Next week is going to be X, which is you. And then the next week is the 0, and that's he, she, or it, singular. He's over there, fixing breakfast. It's he, it's just one. And, they are over there doing that, and you're talking about something stuff. Because that's all we're doing. This module is just one, for president. So add declarative ending S or ES. So if you know if the word, ends with an I, you would just put the S instead of the ES. And this will come to you. Like I said, we're going to go over it, but I'm just reading it right now. Some of you guys are looking a little confused. Present tense conjugation is drop the ETV to get the verb stem. Step 2, L-grade the verb stem, and this is just going over what we said, but just adding a little bit more. Lengthen the final vowel of the verb stem. If the final vowel is a V, change it to an A, unless it's followed by an MK, NK, or T. If it is, leave it a V. The rest of the vowels get a long mark over. This L-grade means lengthen. It means to lengthen, so you lengthen the final vowel of the verb stem. L-grade shows the tense. Like I said, I know it's hard to understand right now, but you'll get it in a minute. So if you were going to do an L grading on a word that has MVM in it, it's going to turn the V to an A, so your N would be the MAN. And that rule is right here. Okay, the final vowel of the last vowel in the verb stem, MVM, would be turned to that. The final vowel can also be the only vowel in the verb stem. V becomes an A unless it is followed by MK, NKT. All other vowels will be lengthened by adding the long mark over the final vowel. So you would have in your word, it would be changed with the long marking. Okay, so add the person marker, step 3. So this week, we're adding the I. Person marker shows who's doing the action. I, right now, this is what we're talking about. I is the first person marker, means I. It's just the second person marker, means you. Third person does not have a marker, so it's represented by the symbol. That's why I put the symbol there. When I do my words or when I conjugate my Mvskoke words, for me, it's better to have the symbol than to have nothing, because that reminds me that means third person. That's why I put that there. So because it has no person marker. So if you're reading a text from Mvskoke and it doesn't have the I or it doesn't have the it, because there's nothing there. And these are some of the things, some of the rules that are really not in English. It's just Mvskoke. Third person translated, literally English would be he, she, they, and it in the singular. So you can say it, and you're talking about the dog. It's, you know, the dog dropped a bone, it dropped the bone. So you know it's a singular dog. So that's, I forgot to put that up there. So if you want to write in there, it can also be it. They can also be used many or one. If you use they, put it in parentheses. If right now, because we're doing singular, you put it in parentheses and do SNG, so we know we're still talking about singular. This is just for this module that we're learning, because we are just using singular right now, since we are making singular sentences. And then final step is add the declarative ending S or ES. These declarative endings are also the periods. And it says they also mean am, are, and is. So let me go to the next one, and it should make a little more sense.
Select the word go is.
Okay, DOWS,
What I am.
it's different, because we're not there yet. We're still at the very beginning of making sentences. Okay. Oh, okay, so this will make a little bit more sense to what we're trying to do right now. Let me skip this one. Humbeda, to eat. So I'm trying to get you from humbeda, to eat, to home base. Home base. I am eating. So you're trying to get from to eat to I am eating. And these are the steps that we just went through. You get the verb stem, you drop the ETV, you've got the verb stem. You've got, you put in the person marker, which is I. That's where the I comes in. And after the I, and these are all going in steps, after the I, you add the S, and that means am, are, is, and period. So you can see here, the Mvskoke translation is home base. Literal translation is eating, I am. So this I goes directly down, I, and the S means am. So home, HOMP means eating, I am. The English translation, because like I said, this is the literal translation, and then you got to translate it to how Europeans, how English speakers think and speak. I am Indian. And let me see, we got another one. Like I said, I'm trying to make it to where it's easy steps, and you can follow along a little easier. Back to the home. All right, so we've done the simple sentences. This is right here. Go to this step-by-step translation. So this follows the steps that we just went over. Hombida, and you take off this O, I don't know what happened, but it's supposed to be 2E, not to Edo. But hombida, you drop the ETV. So, and I have in here steps. You drop the ETV and it creates the verb stem. So after you drop the ETV, this is what you're left with, the verb stem. From the verb stem, you see that O is the final vowel, so you put a line over it. And I will tell you next week, because I have to ask it, a Mvhayv Eli about this, but I think it's still hombida or hombis. But I want to make sure that I tell you guys correctly, so I will tell you next week. If that, the the long mark changes the sound. And then here you see, like I said, there's the long mark over the final vowel. And then you add the person marker, because we're talking about I, you put I there. If you were talking about you, it would be it. Right now, we're talking about I. And then you go to the final step and you add the S, because you would not put an I and then an ES, we just add S. Add the declarative marker, which means this S means am, are, is, and it also means the end of the sentence. So you put the period. So here you see the verb stem, and I like to color code because it helps me, see where I'm going. Hombis, verb stem. I is you added the person marker. The S is the declarative ending, meaning am, are, or is. And I put in big font, period, because I kept getting dinged for that in class. She's like, you forgot the period because this means this and this. So that's why I put the period in bigger. I don't know if any, I know there's some speakers who, don't know these rules because they've just absorbed how to speak Mvskoke. For those of us who have not heard or spoken or heard a lot of Mvskoke, we learn better by this is step 1, this is step 2, this is step 3, because that's how we've gone to school in public schools. So that's how you get home base. You see the steps? I said you step by step. Hombida, you drop the ETV, you get the verb stem, you lengthen the vowel, you select the person marker, which is I, because that's who's doing the action. You add the S, the declarative marker, am, are, is, and it also the period. So you get from hombida to home base. You got your verb stem. You've got your person marker, because we're talking about I, and you've got your declarative ending, which is am, are, is, period. So that's how you get it. Is that kind of making sense? It's kind of going in order. And this is what will happen is you will get it, you will start to understand it, then you go home, you drive home, you get home, and you're like, well, that was pretty good. What did I learn? I think that's normal for everybody. You have this on video for our Zooms. You'll be able to refresh and go over this. But you'll be there, you'll get it, and yes, I understand. As soon as you walk out the door, just go, whoops. Because I know, because I've been there, I've done that. Right. And then let's go to the final page here. And it is just a little bit more broken down for you. So this, we went from hombida to home base. So you see also there, this part of this means eating. This I part is I, S is am. I'm going to put the period there so you guys can put the period. But to me, it was exciting to know that this one thing is a sentence. And so people look at it that don't know Mvskoke, like, oh, it's a word. No, it's a sentence. And so you can see eating I am. Like I was showing my class earlier this week, is that's kind of how Yoda speaks. And So I have a picture of Yoda in my office, and he's got the Indian stick balls, sticks holding them, and he's got a native design on his outfit. He's standing there. And I turned the camera and was able to show them Yoda. Yoda speaks Mvskoke. This is how he speaks. And the translations, and I put the translations here. So this is our Mvskoke word, Mvhayv. This is the literal translation, eating, I am. This is the English translation, I am. So you see how you go from home base. And I've got all the rules written out there. I've got all of the examples. You can go over this. We will start with all of our vocabulary that we have. We can be like, we can add that in there. I think it's a kipala. I am eating strawberries. So that's, you just add, one of our vocabulary. That's where our vocabulary words are. Mvskoke home base. I am eating grapes. So you are making words and you're adding on to that. Does anybody have any questions? I know it's a lot to understand and a lot to take in. Like I said, I presented this to the first speakers and they were just blown away. They're like, I have no idea what you just said. I have no idea what you're doing. This doesn't make sense. And I was like, I understand, but this is the way I learned. And this is the way I remember it. And I in college. Like you guys grew up with the language. You guys didn't realize that you were already learning these rules, but nobody sat you down and said, this is how it happened. You already knew because of just absorption of the culture and of the language. Does anybody have any questions? I know it's a lot. That's where we're going to stop tonight because your mind's just like, that's good, but I need to stop. And my husband and I, we always say, we just need to stop and marinate on it. Because you have to keep going over it in your mind. And for those of you who are really, really challenged and want to go further, take the infinitive words that I gave you and try to go step by step. Just to practice and just to get your mind thinking about how to get from the infinitive to I am doing something. Okay. Does anybody have any questions? Some of your looks, I understand. I've been there. I remember coming home from college and I was like, oh my gosh, this is so exciting. I'm so happy, but I have no idea what I just learned. And like you see, we try to backtrack from the first week to the second week to the third week so we can remember because it's easy to forget. So, all right, no questions. I'm going to go ahead and turn off the Zoom. I don't see anybody on Zoom that has a question. No, nobody on Zoom has a question. Yeah. So let me go ahead and turn this off.